No, and we're never going to be able to eliminate risk, and I don't think we want to. I mean, sure, it would be nice to not have to worry about things, but the state, a police state to avoid all possible wackos is not realistic, and that's not the country that I want to live in.
Well, sure, exactly, because historically it is government police states that kill and enslave more people than any Ted Bundy ever could dream of. I mean, our founders told us the big danger is a government that tells you we're going to take your rights away for security. You better run.
Well, I think a big danger also is people that sit by and do nothing and accept it.
You mean people that basically go along with this?
Sure.
Well, that's why we want to commend you for what you've done. Now, did I hear correctly when you were on ABC News that they also told you not to videotape?
No, they never told me not to videotape. I was taking a risk by videotaping it, and had they told me not to, I probably wouldn't. But they never said not to.
But, I mean, you have a right. I mean, they're all surveilling you with cameras. They can't say for security reasons you can't videotape them. Also, I want to cover this point, and we're going to break here. If I keep it just a few more minutes, but please try to start answering this. What type of precedent does it set, though, that if they're going to be groping us now, what could happen in the future?
I can only speculate as to what's going to happen in the future. I would prefer that it stop now and we head back in the other direction.
Where are you going from here?
Well, I'm investigating what our options are right now in terms of making the TSA accountable to their own, published standards. So I'm currently investigating options right now. I've not ruled anything out.
Selena Drexel, the mother of little Anna, who went through this ordeal. We're going to break for just a couple minutes. I'd like to spend a few more minutes with you on the other side, if we can, to talk about how this affected your daughter, how she's doing now, how long did she cry after this ordeal. And we really appreciate your courage to come out and speak about this and also videotape it. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done's been right.
Drexel, mother of little Anna, is our guest for another 4 or 5 minutes. How did your daughter take this? I heard reports that she broke down crying after the ordeal. I think my daughters would break down crying right there on the spot.
Anna's a tough girl. She stood there and took it, and she knew Mom was right there and wouldn't let anything, horrible, even further happen to her. So she was okay to, as long as I was standing there. And she did break down right afterward, thinking that she had done something wrong. Once we got on the plane, we had a lot of explaining to do. Why does Mom always say, don't let anyone touch you? And then now we've done this, now it's okay. When in fact I said, no, it's not okay. You're right to feel this way. You're right to feel violated. It is not okay for anyone to touch you like this. And, Mommy's going to try to do something about this. Trying to explain this also to a 9-year-old that this is what happened to your sister, and this is this is what you saw, and this is why we feel it was wrong. We did a lot of talking on the plane, but after it was over, after we got home, she got back into her normal routine. She's moved on. She's okay with it. She's not sitting in a dark room or rocking back and forth in the corner. That's
certainly good news.
It's not her nature.
But we need to get a class action lawsuit going so this type of abuse stops.
Right.
My concern is this. You obviously are having a measured response. A lot of other Americans are basically having Stockholm syndrome, and I know you sound like a very educated person. You know what that is. But for those that don't, people get abused, so they make excuses for why it's happening. And that's what the social engineers are counting on, to basically set the precedent that government can give us forced inoculations. Government. Have you heard about them taking babies' blood secretly at birth now for 40 years in the U.S.?
No, I've not heard of that. And in my husband's line of work delivering babies, he hasn't heard of that either.
Well, see, no, they tell him it's going to the health department for a blood test. But
okay, yes.
But it's actually going.
So it does go to the state. The heel stick that they do within 24 hours of birth, that does go to the state.
Well, all I'm saying is find out how deep the rabbit hole goes. I got secret documents 15 years ago where it really goes, Cold Springs Harbor Eugenics Lab, and it does have dual uses. But I just wanted you to go look it up. It's in the Associated Press now that it's actually being sold to industry. My issue is there's a lot of power grabbing going on that most people aren't aware of, even who work professionally around it. In closing, my concern is, if you say no to their groping, they then throw you out, but then claim you refused the screening and fine you for $11,000. So, I mean, that's really scary. What's your view on that?
Well, I'd like to see him collect that from as many people, as would refuse it. I don't think it's constitutional, and I think it would get thrown out. I would hope that it would.
Selena, to protect other people, you don't sound like a litigious person, but to protect other people, I think you might want to look at a civil rights violation lawsuit or visit with the district attorney of the county where this happened, because I've had several district attorneys on who say they would charge people for what they did to your daughter. I think it's important to go ahead and go after these people so that they don't continue to do it.
Right, and like I said, I've not ruled out any options. What I would really like to see, attacking the TSA is I think only going to put them on the defensive and have them dig their heels in even further. I would really ultimately like to see other groups work with the TSA to develop screening procedures that are acceptable, ones that would be endorsed by parents, other special populations like the disabled.
Well, Selena, just to be clear, though, because I know you're a reasonable person, so you're trying to be reasonable, the TSA follows orders. We have continuity of agenda all over the Western world. This is happening. This is an agenda, and they don't want to be reasonable. We really appreciate you spending time with us. God bless you. A lot of great points. And everybody cares about you and your family. God bless. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.